Hey y'all, it is Antoinette, and today I want to get up close and personal with y'all and be real vulnerable and talk about a topic that I've been wanting to discuss for a very long time, and that is loneliness. If you are new to my channel, hello, I'm Antoinette, as I said before, and I make videos on debt-free journey, lifestyle, going through grad school, and living in a new city, aka Houston. If you don't know, I've lived here for 4 years now, and I have yet to make a sustainable friendship or even just sustain the ones that I've had, and I want to get a little bit into that. As a 26-year-old navigating full-time job, my career, grad school, everything else that life has been throwing at, it's been so easy to fall into the cycle of loneliness and feeling like I'm alone when it comes to basically everything in life. I think it's not something that people talk about often, especially with this new age of social media where it's kind of loser-like, or it's kind of, I don't want to say frowned upon, but there's something lonely about being lonely and feeling lonely and not having that friend group or those friends that you can always count on. Or even looking back at sitcom shows where they kind of have this thing where friends are the central community, they're the key to everything, they're the kind of the key to your happiness and how they help you along, whether it's through connections and helping you build your career or getting you through a breakup or things like that. I am one person that always thinks friends are very important. I'm not a person that thinks I have to be alone or should be alone 24/7, and that's become increasingly hard for me after the pandemic and trying to navigate this new city and trying to be just like the social person in Houston. If I could explain what loneliness feels like, I would say it's simply the idea that no one is coming to save you from yourself. To describe it, it is coming home every day with no one really to talk to. Coming home every day with no one to share your victories or things with. It's wanting to, share that funny meme to a person and you realize you don't actually have anyone to send those to. It's realizing that sometimes you want to go out and be social and interact with people and realizing you don't have anyone. And I think I would be lying if I say I don't have any friends at all. I do have people that I interact with, but I wouldn't say it is frequent enough for me to feel like we're close or me to feel like I can call on them if I needed to. And also if I feel like, there's this thing with trauma dumping, but I don't feel comfortable going to these people because it just feels like I'm a burden and that I am needy and want something, because I feel like that's what we've kind of moved to when it comes to friendships and community and things like that. There's this idea on the internet that they take from therapy talk and then apply it to every single situation, where it's trauma dumping and being needy and love bombing and things like that. And so I feel like for me now that people have come up with those concepts and kind of stuck to them and misconstrued them in a way, for me personally it's been hard to make friends and it's been hard to form genuine connections with people. I feel like a lot of people live life through social media and they don't want those in-person connections and only something that looks good on Instagram or only people that look good in a picture. And for me, that's very hard to do a lot of those things. I will say growing up, I did have friend groups. I did have people that I hung out with. They would come over every weekend, every other weekend. Even in middle school, that's where, it got harder. I was bullied a lot in middle school, but I still had people that I talked to and I had friends. I feel like I never had trouble making friends as a child. I don't want to say I was popular because that would be a lie. I don't even think my school had popular kids. There certainly were kind of cliques and things where people would hang out. That's never been a problem, and I'm bringing that up because I don't want to say there's been a pattern my whole life of me having trouble making friends. That's not the case. What prompted this video is, how sometimes you're on Facebook and you're like, oh, so-and-so's name popped up in my head, let's go and see how they're doing. That has actually been me. I looked up my childhood best friend, and she has 2 kids now and she's doing really good. I saw she just graduated, but she also mentioned one of our other elementary school friends in a post, and it kind of made me feel lonely because I was like, how did I become the person outside of the friend group? Obviously I moved away at one point. I did move back and we all were friends again, but it felt like they were obviously still friends and I was on the outside because relationships change, and that's understandable. And eventually I did go to a different high school, I did have different friend groups and I didn't do as much as the other kids in terms of, I guess, like extroversion, and them being the type of kids to go to parties, and them being the type of kids to have relationships, and them being the type of kids to basically not grow up afraid of themselves, I guess, if you can say that. I was a shy kid. I barely talked to people that I wasn't comfortable with, so that definitely was kind of difficult. Then I got into where I really had a lot of social anxiety, and so especially after high school, college, and even up to now, it's been so hard to kind of come out of that shell, and I'm definitely working on it. I definitely am trying to combat that. I know I'm the problem, and that's just something that I've been having to, you know, kind of look back on. Thinking about them and like how a lot of people have childhood friends, I think that would be so wonderful. I did have a friendship breakup. I did talk about that story here on YouTube if you guys want to check that out. Me and her have been friends for 8 years. I think the big thing is how when we become adults, all of this shit is real. Everything we talk about, everything worth having, everything we do is real. Our morals and values come into play, and sometimes you outgrow a lot of people. And I'm not saying my way of life is better, and I'm not saying that what I do is certainly better than other people, but there's just certain things that I can't compromise on that make or break a friendship, in my opinion. And so a lot of people are like, oh, we have these differences but we're still friends. I can't do that for me and my friendships. And so I really had to sit back and look at if I'm the problem in the friend groups and why it's so hard for me to make these sustainable relationships as an adult, if there's something that I can work on or fix or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? So I would say that there are 3 different types of loneliness. There's like a social loneliness where you have a lack of social network, which is true. There's a situational loneliness where there's changes in your life and you feel like nobody else is going through that. Again, true. And then there's a third part, which I think is like an emotional loneliness and feeling like you don't have a close bond or you're missing a close bond with someone. And again, I'm 3 for 3. So where does that leave me in the world? Alone. That's the whole point of this video. I think that there has been in my life and in my head for a long time that if I just do the right thing, that makes me a good person, and you know, people will come to you, and boys will come to you, or girls will come to you, and you know, if you're just this good person and you do all these things, and you know, good things will happen. And that's not always the case. And like I said, I don't think I'm better than other people for doing certain things or not doing certain things. I have a lot of stuff in life that I'm definitely not proud of. I think that it's just different when you're reflecting on all of that and realize you have no one to talk to that really relates to that. And I feel like I'm not the only person in the world that feels like this, but it's definitely eye-opening to like see that I have a friend group. One of my college roommates is having a wedding this weekend, and I'm obviously going to attend, and I would consider her a friend. I would consider her a close friend, but she also lives 2,000 miles away. She also has her own life and she's about to have a husband, so that dynamic is obviously going to change. And then, you know, I have another friend, she lives in New York, and she was also my college roommate, and I think about her closely, but I always wonder, they think about me as much as I think about them, you know what I mean? Like, if I don't text first, would I be getting texts back? Would I be invited to things if I didn't like, physically place myself into their mind? You know what I'm saying? I was thinking like, one day, if I ever get married, who would be my bridesmaid? Who would I call on? And I think that's not that important for people that don't find that important. But I feel like if you have bridesmaids specifically, or just people you're like, oh, this was my play cousin when we were this age and we're still so close, and oh, this is my blah 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 and we met here, and I'm just like, should I place that importance on people that don't even do the same for me? You know what I'm saying? Should I have those thoughts now even though I don't even have a significant other yet? Or am I just like stressing myself out just for the sake of being stressed out? You know what I mean? A terrifying loneliness that I think I let settle and I let sit, and I definitely just needed to like talk it out to a camera and realize that it's real. And the further I get into adulthood, the more lonelier it gets. I will say that loneliness can affect your mental health and even I think your physical health due to stress or anxiety or things like that. I always feel like there's something that I'm missing out on by not having a friend group and by not having people to call on, and I definitely have formed better coping mechanisms when it comes to that. I have started to read books. I've started to, you know, go further on my YouTube channel and hopefully, you know, build a community on here here and I've started to look at places or hobbies or things I can do that gets me out of the house, because I gotta get on my Zoom. If you want friends and if you want people in your life, you have to put yourself out there. Even though at a certain point it does get tiring of doing that, and it does feel like it's a push and pull relationship where you're just the only person giving and the other people are not doing anything. And I think that I am definitely trying. Your girl is trying to make friends, and your girl is trying to get out there and be this person that I want to be, like my ideal self. I think I talk about a lot of that on this channel because that is just me growing up. And I approach my 30s. I'm gonna be 27 this year, exactly 1 month from now. Actually, no, wait. In a couple of days, it'll be 1 month from now, but I'll be 27. And there's so many life experiences that I feel like I've missed out on and that I haven't experienced because I'm waiting for that friend group. And I think that while that's valid, I still need to come out of that loneliness and experience things for myself and grow. And it's definitely so hard forming relationships in this day and age. I feel like, especially as adults, you know, have a lot of things going on that make it so much harder for us to like see a person every day and talk every day, which is fine. We don't have to do that, but I just feel like genuine connections in this world. My camera indeed died, so if you see a quality difference, that is why. But I just wanted to make a video about loneliness because I feel like in this day and age, it's not really talked about that much online as much as you would like. And I feel like people perceive it better when it's a person that may be more conventionally attractive. I feel like I didn't really want to touch on that because definitely know that I'm not like the conventionally attractive person that people look for when they have these issues. I think people feel like the issue is more valid, or they feel like their voice is heard, or it's more relatable if it comes from an attractive person. And that's just my point of view of things. It may not be true for other people, but I definitely see that when a pretty person comes on here and says they are lonely, that people perceive it better and people have more empathy for them versus someone like me or somebody who may not be as thin or be as attractive. If they say it, people kind of placate you. They kind of, oh, it's okay, well, you can do this, or oh, there's somebody for everybody, or oh, you don't have to feel lonely. Like, it's not truly words of sympathy or empathy for me. It just feels like they're placating you versus a different person of a different caliber. If they come on here and say that, they act like it's the second coming of Jesus. And there's a bit of bitterness when it comes to that, because I just see like the way people get treated is so vastly different, and I find myself doing that too. I'm not exempt to being a shit person sometimes, and I have to like stop myself and remind myself that even if this person is not ideal, even if this person doesn't look like how I want them to look or what I'm attracted to or things like that, that doesn't mean that they deserve to be treated differently. And I think that definitely contributes to loneliness for a lot of people because they don't know or they can't find their place in the world. This channel is definitely becoming that for me. There's definitely a grieving process when it comes to where you thought you would be in life, because I thought my life was going to be Sex and the City, and I'm just not that person. So I'm just not that girl. I'm not that girl. So it's definitely been a ride in figuring out who I am. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if you are feeling that loneliness, you can share and talk about it in the comments if you would like. If this video even gets any views, yeah, we're working on it, and we're trying to figure this life stuff out. I will see y'all in the next video. I hope you feel safe, happy, and comfortable in your bodies. I got that from Brie Larson if you didn't know, and I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.